There's a wide third man, and they're able to come through for another run.
We'd want to give kudos to the Antigua Barbuda Cricket Association for the second edition of this tournament, the Tri-Nations, the Tri-20 series, leading up to the Antigua and Barbuda independence. The 36th year of independence coming up, and this tournament started last year, certainly going in leaps and bounds.
Here is Rutherford in outside the line of the off stump and cut away down to backward point for 4. Hit it hard, it went in the air, one bounce into the boundary, but it was wide outside the line of the off stump, asked for the treatment, got it from McCarthy. He really put bat to ball on that occasion, didn't try to keep it down because it was always going to be safe, into the boundary for 4, and the total has gone on to 73 for 2.
Diminutive batsmen a la McCarthy don't need a second invitation to cut.
Here is he driving this time and gets the same result. This time it's more of the outer portion of the bat, but the result is the same as it speeds over the field down at backward point and into the boundary for 4. This time not a flat batted stroke. He played it with a straight bat, but the result was the same as it got good bat and it really peeled off the outer portion of the bat and flew over the outfield and into the boundary for 4, 77 for 2.
Short of a length outside the off stump coming back to him, but he waited on it. Played it as it got square to him and punched it right to the man at point for 4. Lovely shot.
This delivery short of length, and it's called wide as it bounced over the top of the batsman down the leg side, taken by Bramble behind the stump. So 1 more to the total, 78 for 2 in over number 10. So this is a good over so far for the Jamaicans. They've already had 12 runs coming from it. So it's a good over for them with 1 legitimate delivery still to go. This is Rutherford. He turns from the Sir Andy Roberts end, and this delivery is a better delivery. Skid through outside the line of the off stump. McCarthy was looking to run it down to third man. Didn't make any contact. The ball is through to Bramble, and there is no run. He's looking at the umpire as if he thought that one should have been called a wide. I thought that was a good delivery, well within the mark that is used for that wide delivery. So the end of over number 10, the Jamaicans doing much better this evening than they did last night. They are 78 for 2, Griffith on 27 and McCarthy on 10.
Good delivery there to finish the over from Rutherford. He ran his fingers over it, kept his line outside the off stump, angled it slightly away. McCarthy was looking to angle it down to third man. Missed it. Don't know why he was appealing to the umpire for wide delivery. It wasn't wide at all. But a good over there for Jamaica, and they've really picked up 78 for 2 off 10, going at 7.8. They'd want to, take this scoring rate, pick it up and take it, and at this stage, targeting maybe 175. 10 overs to go, 2 wickets down. They'd certainly want to gallop from here and put a big total on the board.
Definitely would want to put a big total on the board. They need to get into this tournament. They had a struggle last evening, made a small score that was overhauled by the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters. So they would want to really have a good game against the men from Guyana, who have really come here this year. Looks as if this is their first edition of this tournament, but based on the selections that they've made, they've come to win.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, they've brought probably their best available team. And it's their debut in this tournament, and they certainly want to win this one.
Kimo Paul with the start of a new over. His first delivery is wide outside the line of the off stump, called wide by umpire Lewis. As the batsman was reaching for it, was Griffith trying to play it square of the wicket. Didn't make contact, through to the wicket keeper. 1 more to the total. It goes on to 79 for 2 in over number 11.
Kimo Paul is a young man that a lot is expected of in West Indies cricket. Just looks to have that natural ability, that common sense approach to cricket.
Here we see he runs in now, and this delivery, the batsman is again cutting. Delivery, not necessarily the fastest delivery you've seen, just probably bowling within himself, Kimo Paul. The batsman was trying to force this one away through the offside, didn't get it through, so there is no run. So we watch as Paul begins to move in now. He's sprinting in, he's in and bowls, and another slower delivery. This time the batsman waited for it and gets a single as he just hit it away from that fielder standing at square cover. He had to move to his left to do the fielding. That allowed the batsman to come through for a run. 80 for 2 in over number 11. That has taken Griffith on to 28. And McCarthy, who's on 10, now comes in to strike. Very soon we're going to have our streaming up. If it's not up already, it is up. So if you want to join us on the stream, you can look for us. They'll give us the address in just a minute. But we're streaming live here as well. So those of you who are in Guyana, you can also watch. Here is this delivery down the line of the leg stump. And there is no run. It's the ABCA cricket. So ABCA cricket, if you're listening to us in Guyana and you want to watch us, right, on Facebook, you go to Facebook, ABCA cricket, and you will be able to see the stream, which is now up and running as well. Here is Paul. Begins to move in now. He's in, and this delivery is on the line of the leg stump, and the batsman just working it down to a backward square position. The fielder, who is at a short, fine leg, moving around to his left to do the fielding, and they come through for a run.
Good common sense batting there from the from McCarthy and Griffith. Turning the strike over, not allowing the Guyanese bowlers to, bowl predominantly to any one batsman, and with a left and a right hand in strike, that's working to the advantage.
This delivery is played away, square of the wicket, straight to the fielder, though, standing at square cover, and there is no run. So, left-handed Griffith on strike. He's on 28 of 24 deliveries. McCarthy has faced 11 deliveries for his 11 runs. So just a runner ball by McCarthy. Just a little better than a runner ball for Griffith as he faces now as Kemo Paul. Bowling within himself, trying to mix it up here. You see in and a slow delivery. The batsman allowing it to go through down the leg side. You could almost see it in his action that one was going to be a slow delivery. And so he's allowing it to go through, and they pick up a wide.
Well, most of the deliveries in this over, from the first over from Kemo Paul, has been slow deliveries, taking the pace off the ball, asking the batsman to generate energy. And he is, I think he's getting to the batsman because he's forcing them to do what they have not been doing all evening.
Delivery wide outside the line of the off stump. The batsman just getting trapped on the crease, his feet not moving, just swinging the bat at it, waving it, and he went through to the wicket keeper. He looked down with some measure of inquisition towards the umpire, as he thought that might have been called wide, but he was really badly out of position on that occasion. The batsman not moving his feet at all. Here is Paul in to the batsman, and this is a slower delivery, and Griffith is driving again outside the line of the off stump, straight to the field at square cover, and there is no run. Brings up the end of over number 11. At the end of it, 83 for 2. Griffith on 28 and McCarthy on 11.
Frustration coming into the batting of Trevon Griffith after the run out of Taylor. When we started commentary, he was into the 20s, about 22, 23 off 11 deliveries. He's now scored 28 off 26 deliveries. So he's been pegged down. They've been bowling slow deliveries at him, the seamers. He's not been getting that pace that he requires and he prefers to get the ball away. And he's beginning to get frustrated. He's at the point where he probably feels he ought to get on with it or get out. And I think once he gets on strike again, we're probably going to see him try to attack the bowlers, especially if the spinners are at play, and try to pick up the momentum, as his team really needs him to do so.
And what has really caused the frustration is that they're not turning over the strike. They've been really soaking up dot balls. They've not been able to find the gaps and to pick up the ones and twos. Here is this delivery from a new over. Is that Jacobs that's back in? Yes, Jacobs is new over. The first delivery's worked the way out to the long on region for a single by McCarthy. He goes on to 12. Bring Griffith, who is on 28, on to strike, 84 for 2.
So the common sense off spin bowling here from Jacobs. That's what he has done over the years. Bowl stump to stump, varies his pace, and shows a good understanding of what is required of him and what his team has asked him to do.
So we just have a slight hold up as just some of the discs have moved out of place that are marking the 30-yard circle. The umpire just wanting them picked up. Here is Jacobs, right arm around the wicket to Griffith, and Griffith is looking to force this one away. Is that a chance? We don't know. It looks as if it went into the gloves of the wicketkeeper and then fell. We'll just wait and see what the signal is from the umpire. So that seemingly was the chance, because it took the edge. Because there's no signal. There's no signal from umpire Bernard Joseph, so that was a chance. It's a sharp chance. It went into the gloves of the wicketkeeper and fell. They got a single. Here is McCarthy driving. The diving stop just can't prevent the single because it goes away out to the mid-off region. There was a diving stop from the Guyanese fielder, tumbling away to his right. The Griffith gets, as a matter of correction, McCarthy gets run number 13. The score is on to 86 for 2. 86 for 2. This is Jacobs. He's in, and the batsman is working this one out into the mid-wicket region. They pick up a single as the fielder out on the deep mid-wicket boundary is in attendance. Has a very weak throw back to the bowler's end, but the batsman had already settled for just 1 run. 87 for 2 in over number 12. So we have 2 deliveries to go in this over as McCarthy is on strike. Jacobs just making sure that the angles are correct. He wants that fielder on the boundary just to move a couple of paces to his left. Here is he in, and this delivery, McCarthy is driving hard, but straight to the fielder at that long off position just for another single. The throw comes right back to the wicketkeeper's end. So 1 more to the total. 1 more. It goes up to 88 for 2 in over number 12. So is it time yet, Zoral, for us to start to think about a target for the Jamaicans? We watch as this is Jacobs around the wicket, and Griffith is hitting this one high in the air. There's a fielder settling under it. Takes the catch in the mid-wicket region. You said it, Zoral. He was getting frustrated. He was either going to go for it or get out. He hit that one high in the air. The ball just hung. It stood up there for quite a while. The fielder settled under it. Takes the catch. Rutherford it is that took the catch. Jacobs gets his man. Griffith goes. It's 88 for 3.
Well, certainly not a delivery short enough to be pulled. But Trevon Griffith has been frustrated into trying something. He was at the stage where he needed to do something. He felt he needed to make a contribution. 10 overs, 78 was the score then. And obviously looking at a target of maybe about 175. And he definitely wanted to ensure that his team picked it up and moved on from there. Unfortunately, he picked out the man at deep mid-wicket. He went under it, hit it high into the air. Easy catch for the Rutherford coming in from deep mid-wicket. Good over there from Stephen Jacobs. As we hinted early on, common sense bowling. Not flighting it, not looking for turn, but bowling stump to stump. And the frustrated Trevon Griffith goes in the end.
So Griffith goes, brings Walton out. Walton, who last evening didn't really trouble the scorers, got himself out pretty early in the match. Walton last night, he was caught Henry or Phillip trying to pull one down the leg side, and at that time the Jamaicans were in trouble when he got out at 39 for 5. He's coming in this evening in a better position, 88 for 3, the total at the end of 12 overs. We're looking around, Zoral, we're looking for our replacements. They've seemingly gone in hiding. We can't find Sir Curtly Ambrose, and that's not something that's easy, because with his size and everything, he's easy to pick out from anywhere. And we are also standing by. Seth Burton is going to come into action pretty soon. But here is Paul in with the start of a new over. Yorker length delivery, dug out by the batsman. Is that Walton? That's on strike. We'll see. No, that's McCarthy who's on strike, and they can't score.
I'm not sure about dugout. I think he took that one fully in step. Yorker length delivery, fairly quick delivery there from Keno Paul. Having bowled all slow deliveries in the previous over, must have surprised McCarthy with that one. Took him on the instep. He's hobbling around a little bit. I'm sure he wouldn't want to go off. He's in good form. Chadwick Walton, the MVP of the recent CPL, has come to join him. And this is where the engine room of the Jamaican batting will be.
We'll see if he can really fire off this evening. Here is Paul. This delivery, the batsman is driving. He peels off the outer portion of the bat, goes down to third man for a single. 1 more to the batsman in McCarthy. He's on to 15, and the total on to 89 for 3 in over number 13.
And in the CPL, Walton would have played for the Guyana
Jaguars.
Amazon Warriors.
Amazon Warriors.
So obviously some of these players here in the Guyana team would have been his teammates a couple of weeks ago. So they probably have some scores to settle. But he had a really, really outstanding CPL. He definitely want to build on it. He has some West Indies experience. Hasn't always performed at maximum when given the international opportunity. But such a talent he is.
Let's see what he can do this evening. Here is he facing up to Paul, and he's driving straight to the field at short extra cover, and there is no run. So we're in over number 13, 89 for 3. Walton yet to score, just facing his first delivery. McCarthy, he's on 15. And last wicket fell was Griffith, caught Rutherford off Jacobs for 30 when the score was 88. We watch as here is Paul. Runs in, goes past the umpires into bowl to Walton, and Walton is punching this one. Gets his first run out to the deep mid-wicket region. In the cow corner region, we call it. The fielder just walks in as a throw back to the bowler's end, and they come through for a single. So Curtly Ambrose has come alongside me. If you heard all that ruction as he was coming in, that's how fast bowlers are. They tumble in, and he tumbled in just now with a lot of noise, a lot of gusto, as he normally does. Good evening to you, Sir Curtly, and welcome.
Hey, good evening, Dan Moore, and of course, good evening to all the listeners of ABS Radio.
And we're also streaming live on Facebook. So for some folks, they're getting the stream on the ABCA page, and they can watch what's taking place here. Here is Paul in to the batsman in McCarthy. McCarthy driving and missing outside the line of the off stump. Through to the wicket keeper it goes. He's on 15 off 17. Walton is on 190 for 3 in over number 13. One delivery to go to end over number 13. This is a much better performance this evening by the Jamaicans in terms of their batting than they did last evening against the Master Blasters.
Much better showing at this point.
At this point, here is McCarthy in. He gets a full toss and he's hitting it hard. Back over the top of the bowler. The fielder doing well, coming around the long off position, sliding across, and the batsman were able to come back for 2 runs. He probably not timing it as well as he wanted to. He hit it hard, but not with the timing that he wanted. Only got 2 to end the over. The end of it, 92 for 3. McCarthy is on 17, Walton on 1. So currently the Jamaicans are moving forward, looking to build a partnership.
Well, yes, having lost the first game last night, I'm quite sure that they would want to come back with a bang tonight to get off the mark, get a W in the column, as they would say. And so far, they're doing a pretty decent job of it. With 7 overs to go, I'm quite sure they're looking for a competitive total.
Definitely, they're looking for a competitive total. They're probably looking to get somewhere in the region of 150 or so. And if they could get anywhere up to that region or even more, they would think that they're in with a chance of defeating this highly talented Guyanese team, because the Guyanese, they're not taking any chances. They brought out all the big guns into this tournament. There was Johnson, there was Fu, and there was Bacchus, and all the other folks that they've brought here, because they're really coming to compete. This delivery is played square of the wicket as Pramal is now coming from the Sir Andy Roberts end to bowl his 4th and final over, 3.1 overs, no maiden, 18 runs, 1 wicket. That's his statistics thus far. He goes between the umpire and the stumps into bowl to McCarthy, and McCarthy hits this one hard. But it's actually Walton who punches this one hard out into the wide long on region. The fielder moves across, does the fielding, and he's able to get a run. So Seth Burton stands by. He'll come in momentarily at the end of this over, and he'll probably take us up to the end of the innings. We watch as here is Pramal. He's in, and this delivery is cut away past the man at short third man and down to the boundary for 4. He flashed the bat at his, and they say when you flash hard. It was outside the line of the off stump, and he really flashed hard. It took a thick outside edge. There was a fielder diving at that short third man. He didn't stand a chance. The ball sped over the outfield and into the boundary for 4. 97 for 3, and we're still in over number 14.
Very good shot for welcome ones as well for Jamaica.
McCarthy faces up again, and Pramal comes in, and this time he's squeezing it down to the short third man, goes straight to the fielder, so he can't score. Fielder pretty short at that, inside the circle at short third man, as Pramal. 3.4 overs, no maiden, 23 runs, 1 wicket. His statistics so far, just 2 deliveries to go legitimately in his spell. Here is this one. He's swinging it high. The ball is in the air. Players converge. Will it drop safely? Yes, it does. It fell between 3 players, and they were all striving to try and get there. It just hung in the air and was just falling in no man's land. McCarthy gets away with it. He's on to 22, and the total has gone on to 98 for 3.
As they say, what's it saying?
Fortune
favor the brave.
Yes.
It was really a poor shot or a poor attempt.
It
really, he was never in control, and luckily for him, McCarthy, fell, as I said, then more fell in no man's land. 3 players converged, but none of them could have gotten to it.
No, they're very deep. Two of the players are on the boundary, and the one at short fine leg just couldn't make the ground in time. Here is a delivery to Walton to end the over. Walton plays it defensively. Just seen off Pramal at the end of it, 98 for 3. McCarthy is on 22. Walton on 2. After more thoughts from Sir Curtly Ambrose. For the first time this evening, I welcome Seth Burton.
As Jamaica inch closer to that 100-run mark, after over number 14, it's a much better showing than they did last night. It was a paltry effort on their part, 106 runs. It was never going to challenge Antigua Master Blasters. And they put up a much better effort tonight. And I'm sure they want to get off, to a win tonight, because if they lose tonight, they could be in serious trouble in the tournament. So a win tonight will augurs well for Jamaica team. As I say, good evening to my good friend Seth Burton.
Good evening, Sir Curtly. It's
You're
really
late.
a pleasure.
You're late.
Well, you're telling the whole world I was late, but they would understand the circumstance. I won't go into the details. I guess our senior producer, Jack Matthew, knows all about it. I'll leave that there. So we're watching here at the Sir Viv Richards Stadium. In fact, the bowler coming from the Sir Curtly Ambrose end happens to be Kimo Paul. So Sir Curtly is watching from his end. He's broadcasting as well as Paul comes into McCartney. Oh, he tries that scoop and could have been in a bit of trouble on that occasion. In fact, it's beaten. Beaten, so they have made a change, mixing it up here. Fortunately for him, I don't think that was the proper shot. I always believe in the purist mentality.
Well, I'm very much like you said, because I figured most players nowadays, most batsmen, figure because it's T20, they like to invent shots.
That has happened to some success. Beaten this time. He's driven out towards the cover boundary. 6 runs, a good shot. That one was pitched up outside the off stump. The 100 comes up, but he just really hoisted it between the fielder on the cover boundary and the fielder on the long off boundary. A good way to bring up the Jamaica 100. McCartney really picking up the momentum here.
That only strengthens our point set when we say conventional cricket shots are so important. Some of these shots that they're manufacturing are not very, in my opinion, it doesn't really make more sense. You can play proper cricket shots and score just as quickly.
Precisely, so why? But here is Beaton. He has other things in mind. None for 22. Here in his third over, comes in over the wicket to McCarthy. McCarthy drives this one in the air. Will he be taken by the field on the boundary? He's taken. A good catch, well judged. He was trying to play a lofted drive over long on. He did not get enough on it. He had just struck a 6, and now to perish just after having glory for 28 caught. Paul off the bowling of Beaton. Jamaica 104 for 4. Pretty much a game that I think is well set up.
That was a giveaway, really, by McCarthy. I mean, you just struck a 6. You're under no pressure to score, and to try for maximum again, only held out that long on. Really, that to me is not sensible cricket, in my opinion. You've already struck a 6. Only 3 deliveries gone. You could at least pick up a 1 or 2 here or there, maybe get 10 in the over, and carry on. He gave it away in the end, I believe.
Well, certainly gave it away, and not the best time to give it away. It looks like Fabian Allen, the number 6 batsman who is coming in to replace McCarthy. McCarthy perishing for 28 off 23 balls, and Jamaica 104 for 4. But Chadwick Walton, who is very much known for his power hitting at the top of the innings, he is there. And I think that is to Jamaica's credit at this point, Curtly, with 5 overs remaining after this one.
Yes, and that's why the dismissal of McCarthy, to me, was not very good, because now they're basically 2 new batsmen at the crease.
Here is Beaton. Comes in this time to Walton. Walton works the ball off the pads, was attempting, well, just ambling out of the crease, but realizing that Fu was just at short backward of square position to the right of umpire Bernard Joseph, who stands at square leg, decided to go back, and no run. So 14.4 overs. And as you would have heard, well, I myself heard that Antigua Barbuda defeated the Jamaicans by 5 wickets. Pretty much a good start to the Master Blaster. Here is Beaton. Tall, slim figure as he comes into Walton. He gets a good one, but good working by Walton. Sort of slackened the top hand off the bat and was able to steer it down to third man. Got a single, and the single takes the Jamaican and West Indian T20 wicketkeeper batsman to 3. from 7 balls. Strange at the rate that we're accustomed to him going. Beaton has been a young man who has been around. I would like your assessment on him. He's a Montserrat-born player, but would have gone and would have played for Guyana over the years. This time, one short of a good letter, good delivery. That one really had Allen in all sorts of trouble. Pitch just short of a good length, and there was he almost taking evasive action. In the end, I'm not quite sure if the ball struck him, but in the end, going through to the wicketkeeper to complete the over. A good end to an over that did not start all that well.
Yes, not a bad comeback by Ransford Beaton. And speaking about Beaton, I saw him for the very first time a few years ago when I was at CCC, when CCC played against Guyana in St. Kitts.
Okay.
And that's the first time I saw him. Thought he had a potential. Thought that he would have by now have moved on to maybe the senior team, but I don't think that his work ethics really allowed him. Because I left him a program back then when I was with the Guyana Amazon Warriors, and from all reports, he hasn't really followed the program. Seemed to be a bit on the lazy side. So you can't be lazy if you want to be a fast bowler.
Well, certainly not, and you're hearing it from the ultimate fast bowler, Sir Curtly Ambrose. We would have had so many debates about Curtly Ambrose. I'll get back to some of them. As Walton drives, this one, the ball peels, in fact, goes past the dive-in figure, beating that third man, and goes into the boundary, the backward point boundary for 4. But he was coming forward. It did not seem as though he was in full command. In my opinion, he was trying to drive through the covers, and in the end, the ball taking the outer part of the bat and going down to the backward point boundary for 4. 4 not quite in the dark. The batsman would say I was in total control. The bowler would say I thought I had something on him. But here is Paul, another young medium fast bowler, comes in, tries to field on the cover boundary. An extra cover, long off, a long on, a mid-wicket, all on the bounce. He did not reach where we anticipated. He would have driven, back past the bowler, but a lot of bottom hand in that shot from Walton. It was a good one. Pitched up, almost Yorker length delivery. Walton was really trying to ease into the stroke, attempting to ease it over long on. In the end, playing it out to Stephen Jacobs, who had all comfort of only allowing a single. Walton is on 9 and Allen faces. This time he pulls out towards mid-wicket, forward of the fielder, coming around to his right. 4 runs, good shot. In the end, he doesn't have the pace to be bowling that short delivery. Curtly Ambrose easily dispatched by Allen into the boundary for 4. Allen moves to 5. The Jamaica score up to 116 for 4.
Yes, a short delivery on the part of Kemo Paul. And of course, like you rightly mentioned, Seth, with the lack of pace, it's easy pickings really for anyone who can bat a bit. And he was punched way in front of square for 4. The fielder at the mid-wicket boundary had no chance. And not a very good way to end that over on the part of Kemo Paul.
So Paul, 3 overs, none for 20 on his part, and we would have a replacement here. But Curtly, what are the features you mentioned about willingness to do the work? What are some of the keys to successful fast bowlers, particularly when you're a youngster? What does it take to go the extra mile?
It's what I find in a lot of young fast bowlers, even though they may have the talent or the ability to bowl fast and stuff like that, that's only part of it. Having the skills are one thing, but it takes immense fitness in order to go the distance. And I don't think some of them put enough emphasis on fitness. And you really have to be fit in order to go all the way, because having the skills and all that, that's one thing. But you must be able to be fit to be a fast bowler. It's hard work.
So the new bowler is Rutherford, comes in for his second spell. That's a wide delivery. That's in fact outside of all the marks, and it's actually off the pitch itself.
Yes, a very, very, very poor delivery. Rutherford, I don't know what he was thinking there, but his radar is really off.
Certainly. And I guess he wants to get it on. I have watched you over the years, and I'm trying to jog on my mind to how many wides you'd have bowled. I cannot remember. If you did, I didn't remember. And I've watched you.
I've bowled a lot of wides. I've bowled a lot of wides. You've been very modest here.
Well, I'm being honest. I'm just saying I can't recall. Here is Rutherford this time to Walton. Walton hits out towards mid-wicket. The fielder comes in comfortably, collects, sends the return into the wicket keeper. Walton moves to 10, and the score up to 118 for 4.
Yeah, I've had my fair share of wides, but it happens in ODI cricket. The margin for error is so small that they have to be spot on most of the time because the margin for error is so small.
Particularly in one-day cricket, as you would say. Here is Rutherford once again being struck out towards the ball. Oh, on the bounce, and the fielder just allowed it to bounce in front of him. I was a bit unsighted by the monitor in front of me, but I thought, based on when the shot was played, where he is placed, that he could have taken 2 steps in and would have taken the catch.
It was an ordinary effort. He was never walking in the first instance. If he was walking in, he probably would have taken that catch quite comfortably.
Without running.
Without running.
That's the impression I had. But here is Rutherford. You try again to Walton. Good delivery into the pads, but good pace on the part of Walton, bisecting the 2 fielders and going into the boundary for 4. It was a good shot in the end because that ball was angled into him, and he was able to penetrate the man at long on and the man at mid-wicket. Both fielders perhaps being taught that the other fielder was moving towards him, and in the end, it's really good to see that sort of precision after a bowler would have bowled a very good Yorker. Walton showing his experience and getting 4 runs to move up to 14 and push the Jamaica score up to 123 for 4 after 16.3 overs. Rutherford will try again. Comes in over the wicket to Walton. Steps in, hits this one. That's 6 runs. Clearing the boundary, clearing the straight mid-wicket boundary. And neither the fielder at mid-wicket or long on would have even had an opportunity. They would just watch as the ball goes to the west of the northern stand here. And Walton moving up to 20, and he's upping the momentum here for the Jamaicans. Perhaps they could well be looking at 170. That
is Chadwick Walton at his best. Apart from being a good cricketer, a good batsman, he's a superb timer of a cricket ball. Very effortless in his stroke play, but a dangerous customer, Chadwick Walton. And he's just now getting into good momentum. Can he continue up to the 20th over? That will do well for Jamaica.
And I think maybe a good tactical ploy on the part of the Jamaicans, bringing him down the order rather than at his customary opening bat spot number 3, situation, so he can really take the momentum in the latter over. This time, this is another 6. Lovely shot on the part of Walton. He just allowed the slow delivery to pitch, and he was onto it. He was all the weight on the back foot with a swing of the bat, the ball clearing the boundary at long on, long off, and Walton is really at his best. He moves up to 26. The Jamaica score up to 135 for 4. His 26 only off 14 balls, and I believe Samantha will tell us how many 6s he has struck so far.
And of course, Chadwick Walton, such a dangerous player. Very, very dangerous. And once he gets going, it took some time to get started, but then once he gets into his strides, he's always so dangerous.
Rutherford under the sword at the moment. This time he works this one off the pads. That's another 4. That's 4. Flicked it nicely. He came forward. And for one moment, I couldn't pick up the ball. It was really racing rather quickly, Curtly Ambrose, and then going into the back of the square boundary for 4. Walton really pushing on and pressing hard on this over. Moves to 30. We saw 2 6s and a 4 in succession. The last 3 deliveries of the over going for 16 runs. Jamaica motoring on. 139 for 4. Walton 30 from 15 deliveries.
That's one of the dangers for any bowler, for that matter, whether a fast bowler or a spinner. When someone is on the go like that, hitting you for a couple of 6s, it throws you off quite a bit. So you're not too sure what to bowl. Should I bowl length? Should I go for the Yorker? Should I try a couple of slow ones? You're never too sure what to bowl. And when someone is going like that, it's always very difficult for any bowler.
Really difficult. And the Jamaicans really looking good here. Paul is going to come back for his final over. So far from the Sir Andy Roberts end. Comes in. Oh, that's a good one. It was quick. The batsman was backing away, in fact, and he sensed it and really pitched it up just outside the off stump. And even I think the batsman recognized that he was at fault. So good start from young Paul coming in from the Sir Andy Roberts end. They're making an adjustment to the field. Beaton is on the 3rd man boundary. They have sent, they have perhaps have changed their mind. They were sending someone on the backward of point boundary, but he's coming back into the circle. There is someone on the cover boundary, an extra cover, a long off, a long on, a mid-wicket on the boundary. This time he comes in now, driven and well. Straight at the fielder who came into the backward of point position, so perhaps the captain knows exactly what he was thinking. And even though that ball came off the flash of the bat, no running.
Yes, straight to the man at backward points. And one would say, well, very well done by the captain and the bowler. Because it would have been a single if he was on the boundary. So good captaincy in that on that part.
So Paul comes in once again to Allen. Allen hits this one in the air. Will he be out caught? Oh, the ball going just to the left of the fielder, running around from the extra cover position. And a single in the end for Allen pushes him up to 7 and the score to 140 for 4. But Curtly Ambrose certainly not a convincing stroke.
Certainly not. It was a slow delivery, banged kind of short into the pitch, and he almost got caught for the man running away from the extra cover position just inside the circle. He ran for all his worth, but it was in vain.
So it's Walton now to continue the Chadwick Walton show. 3 4s and 2 6s in a score of 30, almost all boundary. This time he drives at this one, but there's a fielder on the cover boundary. He will feel comfortably, only a single. It was a full, it didn't pitch. In fact, no ball now signaled by umpire Bernard Joseph. So he gets an extra ball and an extra run. So the score will go up by 2.
And the free hit.
And the free hit.
Which I hate. I can tell you
it's
that.
a rule that you hate. I myself,
terribly.
I always comment, why these rules? It's a game totally against the bowlers. Here is Paul. Comes into Allen. A slow delivery. Oh, it works well in the end, but they have been able to come through for the single. It was slower. He was backing away, hitting the ball in the ground, but the presence of mind of Walton charging down and allowing Allen to come through. Single takes Allen up to 8. But I wonder if the game, it's designed for the spectators, but I think the T20 game is designed to be an anti-bowlers game.
Yes. And so the ODIs as well. All the rules and regulations favors the batsman.
But you didn't have much of a problem, Curtly.
We didn't have all those rules and regulations back then.
Paul comes into Walton. Walton gets a good one. He's bowled him. A good delivery. He was trying to hit this one over the long off region, and it was well pitched up. A Yorker length delivery, played all over it. The ball was, in fact, so well directed that it ended at third man, and Beaton must be a happy man. He was not the bowler. Paul was the bowler, but Beaton would understand the importance of getting Walton out. Bowled Paul for 31. Jamaica 143 for 5 at the end. In fact, not at the end, but in over number 18.
Certainly a very, very good over up to this point from Paul. You can tell he's a thinking cricketer. He keep mixing up his pace, slower ones, a couple of quick ones, the short bouncer. So he's a thinking cricketer, and got this prize wicket of Chadwick Walton, who was on fire.
Yes, so Paul must be a happy man. New batsman in his Salmon. So Jamaica really wanting to step up the ante here. Pete Salmon. And he will join Allen. It would be interesting to see the approach from here on. 1 ball remaining in over number 18. So 2 overs remaining. That's 13 balls remaining in the innings. I believe, as I said, 170. They would be comfortable perhaps with 170. So they would need to get at least 27 runs here if they are to get up to 170. So Paul, with his final delivery, he has so far had 1 for 24 from 3.5. He comes into the new batsman. Salmon drives out to long off. Who comes off the boundary, gets one. Only that's all there will be. The return comes in on the bounce to the wicket keeper. So at the end of over number 18, Jamaica 144 for 5. Salmon is on 1. Allen is on 8. And Guyana with 2 overs remaining. They will be expecting all the experience from Beaton in this penultimate over to ensure that they can keep Jamaica from really getting a score that would be a challenge for them.
Yes, 144 at the moment for the loss of 6 is not 5, correction? Or is it 6? It's 5.
5, yes, it's 5.
I don't think it's a bad total at this point. With 2 overs to go, if he can squeeze another 15, 20 runs to get into the 160s, that will be a nice challenging total. But Beaton is a very experienced man and usually bowls well in the death overs. So let's see if the Jamaicans can get him away.
So here is he, comes into Salmon. Salmon swings at this one, but missed it completely, a slow delivery. And he was playing too early, almost losing grip on the bat. In the end, almost only the top hand was on the bat and the ball going through to the wicketkeeper. So good, smart start on the part of Beaton.
He usually bowls well in the death overs,
Well,
which is probably the hardest thing to do, really, when guys are on the go.
I heard Ian Bishop speaking the other day about you. I don't know if you were listening when Bishop was saying that you said bowling at the death sometimes is like bowling an entire day in a test match. Here is Beaton. This time he hits this one in the air. Salmon, someone is getting under it. Will the catch be taken? It's taken comfortably. So Salmon does not last. Guyana taking wicket number 6 with the first ball of over number 19.
Second delivery.
Second delivery, thank you, of over number 19. The ball being struck in the air. I thought it was an ungainly shot. The feet were nowhere close to the ball, and he just had an almighty heave, as we would call it. The ball went in the air. A comfortable catch for the fielder. Looks like Johnson coming in the cover position, taking the catch, and wicket number 6 goes down for the Jamaicans.
Very, very clever bowling by Wansford Beaton. Like I mentioned a few moments ago, he's very good in the death overs. And more often than not, he gets wickets or keeps the run down when guys are really going. And on this part, Salmon, well, that wasn't Salmon. Salmon is still there.
No, well, the scoreboard has stuck.
Yeah, that has been the issue since
the major scoreboard has
so we're a little bit slow.
Yes.
But Salmon departs.
So the new batsman, Shea, faces down the leg side a wide, and they will also come through for one, so they would have 2 wides. After the consistency is always a question as far as West Indies cricket is concerned. We saw earlier, here is an opportunity, you just had a wicket, and then the next delivery is a wide, not just a close wide, a wide down the leg side by Beaton. Similarly, we saw earlier batsman hitting a 6, and the next delivery he goes. So consistency, not just that he would have gone, but the manner in which it happens. Here is Beaton, comes in on this occasion. This one is played by Allen out towards, well, they're trying to come back for the second, but no, the fielder coming off the boundary, running in rather well off the long on boundary, was able to do that rather efficiently and avoid the second run. So the score moves to 147 with 3 deliveries completed in this, the 19th over. Beaton comes in once more, driven out towards the boundary. Will it clear the man? Well, he falls on the rope. So that will be 6 runs. Coming around, it looks like I didn't quite pick up the fielder, but coming right on the rope, taking the catch instead of throwing off the ball, fell on the rope with the ball, and that would have been 6 runs signaled by the umpire. So the Jamaicans moving over the 150 mark.
It certainly was a good, comfortable catch, but unfortunately, he stepped over the rope, and very few fielders have that talent or that
presence of mind.
Yeah, to throw it back and then get back in play and all that stuff. Because it's a split-second decision you have to make. You have to think about it. And unfortunately, that didn't happen here. And 6 welcome on to Jamaica.
Well, it would have taken a man your height to take it comfortably.
Yes, and still stand my ground.
What's the best catch you think you would have taken in your cricketing career?
No, you're jogging my memory there, Seth. I'll have to think about it a little bit. I'll get back to you because I've had a few stunners in my time. 1 or 2 bowl and caught and different, So I'll give it a little thought and get back to you.
I remembered one anchor height. I can't remember the batsman, but it was against Pakistan. A bowl and caught anchor height in Port of Spain. I remembered you picking one out of the stand as well. That everybody had said, watch it, it's going towards the boundary for 6, and then Curtly Ambrose came up with a basketball special. This time Beaton comes in. Good delivery. Allen works it off the pads down to Ford, short back of the square, a single. The score, we would not be as accurate as you'd like. We must be honest, just like Kirtley was honest in opening up that I was here late, even though it was by design. Although Denver was trying to say Kirtley was late, but I know Kirtley was there. We would just say circumstances. We have both scoreboards here with technical difficulties. So on the board, it's still 144 for 5, but we know it has gone beyond the 140. This one is going over the boundary. 6 runs, good shot, and that was well played, well timed. Not a lot of flourish. The ball pitched up, coming into his pads, and Allen was just able to work it off the pad. A lot of risk, and the ball going over the field at mid-wicket, over the boundary for 6, and good bit of application on the part of Allen. That completes over number 19, and the Jamaicans are really putting themselves in a good position to have an onslaught in the last over.
Yes, turns out to be a very, very good over on the part of Jamaica. 2 sixes of runs for Beaton, and we must apologize to our listeners. At this time, we can't give you the score. We have some technical difficulties with the scoreboard.
That's why I like the old-fashioned way. The scoring in the book, even though we have the electronic scoreboard, that our standing scorer would be in the book. So,
yes.
You can't beat pen and paper.
Always very safe.
Always very safe. Your best.
Technology is wonderful, but when it goes, it leaves you in a bit of a quandary.
In a little embarrassing situation. But I'm reckoning after the score was 144 for 5, we would have had 1, 2, 3 sixes struck. So I can almost tell you those 3 would have been 18, that the score is about 164 for 6. But don't bet me on that.
There was also wide, so probably close to 170.
Close to 170 as we projected. This time here is Paul with a good delivery. That one took the edge, and it's coming down to the third man boundary. Beaton pulls it up just inside, and the batsmen are coming through for the third run. Will there be a run out here? Oh, he missed it. I thought the keeper was aiming at the stumps at the non-strikers, and in the end, perhaps he was going towards the bowler. We see umpire Bernard Joseph signaling that it's leg buys. So we would have had 3 leg buys here. And we're still having that technical glitch. But let's follow. There is the wooden scoreboard on the side. Pushes the score up to 163 to our right. 163 for 6. But we can't tell you the individual scores at this point. So here is Paul. This one is caught in the air. Down to, one bounce into the boundary. A very good shot. It was a short ball outside the off stump. And he just, the umpire is signaling 6, is it? Oh, he has changed his decision. He has signaled a change of decision. And now umpire Bernard Joseph signals 4 because the ball definitely was going to the boundary, but it dropped just in front of us here towards our right inside the third man boundary for 4. So comes in once again, driven back past the bowler on the onside, out towards Jacobs, who hustles off the long on boundary, the single. Pushes the score up to 168. So 168 for 6. I think for once I'm right on a guess in cricket in terms of a final score. I said about 170. So we have had 3 deliveries so far in this over, or is it 4? So the 170 seems like gettable for the Jamaicans. Once again, he drives out towards the extra cover boundary. That's 6 runs, a lovely shot. The fielder at long off was looking to come around, but he could have chased all he wants. That was well struck on the part of Pete Salmon. And Jamaica pushing beyond the 170 now, moving up to 174 for 6. And I think this is really going to be a big test for the Guyana batting when they start their innings.
It certainly is going to be. And that was a fantastic shot. It's probably one of the hardest shots to play over extra cover for 6. And he played that extremely well.
Here is Paul once again, comes in now. Oh, he gets, this time he uppercuts once again out towards the boundary. 1 bounce into the boundary for 4. He is really propelling the Jamaicans to a very good score with 1 delivery remaining. He has so far taken, 16 off this over. We have seen 1 6, 2 4s, along with those leg buys that they got. So 17 runs off the over so far.
Plus a single down at long off.
Right,
long
so
off
that's
was
18, and the score moving up to 178 for 6. And Stephen Jacobs, the veteran or spinner leading the Guyana team, comes up to have a word with the youngster. Well, we have seen now the 2 scoreboards have gone black, Curtly Ambrose. This is a challenge. Not only that they would have stuck, but now they have gone blank. So we would apologize to our listeners that we won't be able to run the scorecard at the end as we would have liked. This time he's beaten the ball, really pitching just about middle stump and leaving him, the batsman, driving by signal by the umpire. So a bye will complete the Jamaica total. The Jamaica total 179 for 6, Curtly Ambrose. An excellent effort on the part of the Jamaicans, because at one stage when they had the likes of Walton coming in with the score on 83 for 3 after Griffith left for 30, it looked as though it could have been a challenge, but McCartney and Walton really batted well together. Walton really, he was the one who stepped up the momentum and scoring 30 runs in quick time of 16 deliveries, 144 for 5 after when they lost McCartney early at 104 for 4. And since then, you have to give credit to Allen and Salmon, who came in and really added momentum to the team. And we saw the last 3 overs, in fact, no, the last 13 balls would have gone for at least 34 runs.
And that's one of the good things about T20 cricket. You're never out of the game. 1 or 2 boundaries early in and over could always put pressure on the bowlers. And we must say last couple of overs, the Jamaicans have really played well. And 179 is a good total. It's going to take some good, decent batting on the part of Guyana to get to the total. But this is T20 cricket. You never know what could happen. But it should be an exciting game.
Certainly should be an exciting game. And just before we go back to master control, it's good to see a game like this. It's good to see 2 top teams, Jamaica and Guyana, coming out. And also the fact that Antigua, though not a team in the regional tournament, but plays as a part of the Leewards, that the Cricket Association could embrace these 2 teams as they did last year with Jamaica and the Windwards. And it's a good platform for Antigua Barbuda to showcase itself in terms of an emerging or re-emerging team. I think it's a good opportunity not only for spectators but also for the cricketers to perform and step up to the plate.
It certainly is. I think it's a good initiative on the part of the Antigua Cricket Association, President Kuma Rodney and his staff. I think it's a good idea. T20 cricket is so popular these days and everyone loves T20, and I think it's a good initiative, and hope that this year, the second year, been hosting, so hope we can go from strength to strength and get even bigger and better.
Yes, and we need to see the spectators come out. Well, fortunately, Samantha has gotten our screen here back, even though the main screens in the stadium are down. So just to go through quickly the scorecard, you know, Jamaica started with Jermaine Harrison and Steve Taylor. Harrison was bowled by Veerasamy Permaul for 10 from 8 balls. Stephen Taylor, he was run out by Bramble, the wicketkeeper, for 25 from 22 balls. Trevon Griffith, he was caught Waterford off the bowling of Stephen Jacobs for 30 from 29 balls. Andre McCarthy, he was run out direct hit from Kemo Paul for 28 from 23 balls. Chadwick Walton, the man who really stepped up the momentum, he was bowled by Paul for 31 from 16 deliveries. That included two sixes and 3 fours. And Fabian Allen, he was not out for 29. He's the man who really continued the momentum started by Chadwick Walton. He scored 29 off 16 balls and did really do very well, striking 3 sixes and a 4. And Pete Salmon, he was bowled by once unbeaten for 1, faced 3 balls. And the other not-out batsman, along with Fabian, was Orion Williams, who was not out for 7 from 4 balls. Jamaica are doing pretty well, scoring 179 for 6, including 18 extras for Guyana, the bowling, once unbeaten, 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 45. At one stage, he had 1 for 21 from 3, so he really got a beating in the final over. Stephen Jacobs, 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 27. Very good bowling on the part of Stephen Jacobs. Virasamy Pamal, 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 24. And then there was Shafane Rutherford, who had 4 maiden, none for 51. So he really had a beaten. He was really dispatched by the Jamaican batsman. And then Kimo Paul, 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 25. Jamaica scoring 179 for 6 from there. 20 overs. When we return, Guyana will require 180 runs to win here at the Sir Viv Richards Cricket Grounds.
Big one, we're ready for you. Come on over to the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, Kirtley Ambrose and Denmore Roberts. They've already started, big one, so you need to come over to us. Denmore Roberts and Kirtley Ambrose.
You're driving me crazy.
That's a beautiful shot you're playing there, but we would love to hear cricket. Big one. Denmore Roberts and Kirtley Ambrose. That. Thank you very much and welcome back to the Sir Vivian Richards Cricket Stadium where Guyana, they are 2 for 1 in reply to the 179 more they need for victory. So they need 180 for victory. They need 178 more days. Delivery from the bowler is a loud appeal as there was a sweep shot being played by Bacchus, the Guyana opening batsman. He gets away with it and they come through for a run. The last wicket was that of Barnwell. He was bowled comprehensively by Lamont without scoring, and the total at the end of the first over in the reply of Guyana, they are 3 for 1. Good evening, Kirtley Ambrose.
Yes, good evening to you, Denmore. Once again, and it was a very poor shot on the part of Barnwell. A ball, a full pitch delivery on middle stump, and he tried to cut it to backward of point. Grave error and caused his demise. And he can only blame himself. Jamaica off to a good start.
Off to a good start after a pretty decent batting effort on their part as well. They were able to put up a good score of 179 that they posted, and it means that Guyana, they need 180 for victory. Good batting by the Jamaicans tonight after a poor showing last evening against the Master Blasters. This evening, they were able to post a much better score. We're just waiting for the second over to start. If you notice, if we seem a little bit flustered, that's because the scoreboard is actually not in operation, so we're now on manual mode. So we're just hoping that we have everything correct. Who is this, the bowler? Is that Powell? Powell from the far end. We had Lamont, who bowled the first over, 1 over, no maiden, 2 runs, 1 wicket. And Bacchus and Johnson, they're at the crease. Leon Johnson, the Guyanese captain, he would want to have a good tournament, have a good batting display. He's a former West Indies opening batsman and has lost his place recently, so he would want to be back in top form. Here is he facing up to this delivery from Powell. He squeezes it down to a short fine leg. The fielder there feels but bubbles, and then the ball runs away from him, allowing the batsman to be able to come through for a single. So 1 more to the total. It's up now to 4 for 1 in over number 2. Being bowled by Powell of Jamaica. Left arm spinner. He's at the Sir Andy Roberts end. Comes in, right arm around the wicket, and this delivery, the batsman is swinging at it and missing as it goes through to the wicket keeper, and there is no run. So not a good looking shot that by the batsman, just a swat stroke, was just trying to hit it anywhere, not really looking good on that occasion. Who's that? Johnson? Johnson here batting. We watch as here is Powell in, and this time he plays an approved stroke, just working it out into the mid-on region, comes through for an easy single, and that is what he's going to need to do. If the boundaries are not coming early, he needs to work the ball into the spaces and look to pick up early runs. So we watch as Powell continues. Backerson, and we understand, is it Singh you're saying that is batting? I'm now seeing a change. Singh, not Johnson as yet. It's actually Singh who has come. Like I said, we're on manual, so if you hear us making changes, it's that because the players are not wearing numbers like they normally do in these one-day matches. And so we're just having a bit of a struggle identifying the players. And it's not like the olden days. Currently, this delivery is hit up to the mid-off region. Where there's no one where we had a spotter in the commentary box, somebody that came in to tell us who is who. And look and remember in the days when, based on how your batty moves, Katian could say who was the player. This delivery is steered away down to a short third man. They come through for an easy single. Fielder having to work away around to his right to do the fielding. So one more to the total. One more to the total. Bacchus is on 3, Singh on 2. 6 for 1 in over number 2. The end of the over has come up. So the end of another over has come up. Quiet start for the Guyanese in reply to the Jamaicans. Total is 6 for 1 at the end of 2 overs.
Of course, and you can see the Jamaicans, with all this energy. Because, having posted 179, obviously, to follow up their loss last night, where it was a paltry score of 106, you can see that a total transformation. They look energized. They look really in control. They could sense victory, even though there's only 2 overs gone. Because in their minds, they figured that they have a big enough total to defend. And, of course, they've already taken 1 wicket, so the Guyana has a lot of work to do.
Guyana, they do have a lot of work to do. Let's just tell you, it was Harrison who got 10, Taylor 25, Griffith 30, McCarthy 28, Walton 31, Allen was left not out on 29, Salmon had made 1, and Orain Williams was left not out on 7. Those are the chief scorers for the Jamaicans in their innings. So a team effort, some players getting starts and then getting out. I thought that the captain was going really well and then played a poor stroke, in my opinion, to get himself bowled. Here we watch as this delivery is hit high over the top of mid-off for 6 runs. Just going through the line of that one as the bowler in, is that Lamont with his delivery, or is this a change in bowler?
It's a change in bowler.
Change in bowler. We see pace coming from the Jamaicans. And so the first delivery that was delivered was just step forward and hit it right over the top of mid-off for 4. It's 12 for 1. Here is his delivery. The batsman is driving again, this time in the air, but it falls away from the field at mid-off, and they're able to come back for a second one once more. So 2 more to the Guyanese total. They're on to 14. 14 for 1 in over number 3. I'm laughing curtly because I look on the scoreboard. They're trying to confuse me. We watchers, we might have to just trust Blacks and those guys down on the manual scoreboard. They always have it right. Here is this delivery. The batsman is cutting and missing as the ball takes the inner portion of the bat and just bounces down to the wicketkeeper, and there is no run. So 14 for 1 in over number 3. And that's the problem when you sometimes rely on technology. We're relying on computers, and they're failing this evening. So we're going to have to ask Paco to get back out that manual scorebook, that thing that you write in, and you know that it works. Doesn't blank out and all of that. Here is this delivery. He's cutting it high over backward of point. Is it going to be 6 runs? Looks as if it has carried all the way over, but it just bounces before it goes over the ropes. But that's a good shot. It was short and wide outside the line of the off stump, and given the treatment, he just hit it hard and high over the top of backward point, and he one bounce into the boundary for 4.
And it's not a very good over up to this point. A 6, 4, a 2, that's 12, and it's not going good.
We're still
waiting to identify the
we're
bowler.
still waiting for scorers to identify the bowlers, and they're really doing a poor job of it. They're not helping us at all, but it's a tall, slimly built fast bowler. As he begins to move in now, goes past the umpires in, and this delivery, the batsman is pushing it back along the offside for the field at that short extra cover position to do the fielding, and there is no run. 18 for 1 in over number 3. So Powell is bowling. So we're now totally confused, Curtly Ambrose. We're even more confused than we were before. We watch as here is The bowler runs in, goes past the umpires in, and this delivery is struck away into the mid-wicket region, but straight to the fielder who feels well, and there is no run. So we understand that the bowler is actually Christopher Powell, who is bowling, but we will wait and see who it is, because we keep calling names and we're getting it totally wrong. The end of the over has come up. That we know for sure is 18 for 1 at the end of 3 overs.
A pretty decent start by Guyana, having lost the wickets very early. Both Backus and Singh trying to do the repair job, trying to get Guyana to this big total of 180. It's going to take some doing, and we could be in for an exciting game here this evening.
We could be in. Here is the start of a new over. This first delivery struck away over backward of point for 4. Again, outside the line of the off stump, he just swung the bat at it. The ball flew over the top of the field and down to the backward point boundary, and it's 4 runs. So Salmon is the bowler now. That's bowling. So we're finally finding the scorer, and we're going to figure out what has happened to our main scoreboard. Looks as if it has gone down. We watch as Salmon is in, and this delivery is ball him! Off stump, knocked out of the ground. He played a shot, was looking to hit the ball back over the top of the bowler. The defense is breached. The off stump cartwheeling out of the ground. That's the end of the batsman. Who is that batsman that's out? We'll figure it out, but he's walking back to the crease. That's the end of the batsman. Is a Singh bowled by Salmon, and he walks back to the pavilion. The Guyana losing their second wicket. Singh making 6. He was bowled for 6, 22 for 2 Guyana, and they are in a little bit of trouble because they're losing early wickets. But we continue. We will bring you up to date. Powell, we're just trying to sort out the bowling statistics. So if you see that I'm looking, now it says Powell 1 over for 12 runs, and Salmon, who is now bowling his second over, 1.1 over, no maiden, 7 runs, and he would have gotten 1 wicket as well. So we will see who is that new batsman. Looks to be another left-handed batsman for
it could be Leon
Guyana.
Johnson.
This time we think it's Johnson.
Yeah, the captain Johnson.
The captain, Johnson. And he would have a lot of work on his shoulders this evening because much is expected of him. He is by far the top batsman in the Guyana team, and one that they're going to be looking for to really get the bulk of the runs if they're going to have a good run chase here this evening. There's a slip in for him as a man at short third man, square cover, extra cover, mid-off, long on, a deep mid-wicket, a man at backward square, close to the umpire, and a short fine leg. As this is Salmon, comes in, and this delivery, he's trying to cut it away outside the line of the off-stump, a quicker delivery, and the ball is through to the wicket-keeper, and there's no run.
I want you to have a look at Salmon's action, Denmo, and tell me what you think.
I said it last night, he looks and bowls a lot like Athens. That's the most I'm going to say. Here is he in. His action looks a lot suspect to me. It doesn't look very genuine, very pure. Looks as if we would see chucks, a couple of them. Looks, looks suspect. But he's not called by any of the umpires or anything. So we would have to think that he's within the legal 15 degrees that is allowed. But he looks suspicious to me. As a matter of fact, I don't like the action at all. Here is he coming in. And he's in, and this delivery again, Johnson is looking to cut outside the line of the off-stump, misses. The ball is not taken cleanly by the wicket keeper. It bounces down, but no damage done. Score remains on 22 for 2. 22 for 2 in the 4th over, 3.4 overs, as Salmon, he comes in, just walks in, and then breaks into his action. And this time, Johnson cuts and cuts well, pass backward a point. He's going to get a boundary. He does. He was looking for that shot all evening. He played it, 2 times and missed, and this time he was able to make contact, got it past the fielder. The ball raced over the outfield and into the boundary for 4. 26 for 2 at the end of over number 4.
Yes, I don't think there was pretty good bowling on the part of Salmon. Like you quite rightly mentioned, then more 2 or 3 deliveries before that, he attempted and successful in the last delivery. When a batsman's playing something like that, as a bowler, you should be thinking, okay, looking to play straight a wicket, let me force him to play straight down the ground. And Salmon didn't do that. I was struck away for 4.
Yes, he needed to get that ball a lot closer to Johnson, maybe looking to fire it into his pads, forcing him to play a lot straighter, because Johnson was looking for that room outside the line of the off-stump. He actually played twice and missed, and that third one he was able to pick up a boundary. So, Robin Bacchus is not out on 15. Christopher Barnwell was bowled Lamont without scoring, and Ganga Singh was bowled by Salmon for 6. Here is this delivery, struck up in the air, fielder settling under it, takes the catch. So the wicket has fallen for Guyana. Who is that? Is that Bacchus that goes? Caught off the bowling of... We will see who is that. He's caught off the bowling of Salmon, and really, really soft way to go for Robin Bacchus.
Yes, total giveaway, really. It was a short delivery, and he tried to paddle it through the onside, only succeeding in getting a top edge. And he just looped gently to the man at short mid-wicket, who took an easy catch. And Guyana are in serious trouble at this point.
Yes, they are. They are in serious trouble at this point. They're 26 for 3 at this point, and really not necessary at this stage of the innings for Bacchus to be playing that shot. And remember, in the lead up to this tournament, they had an interview with him, and that is one of the things that came out, that he needed to curb his aggression and work on his temperament. They say he has strokes, he is aggressive, he can hit the ball, he can be aggressive, but he often gets out pretty easily, like he did here this evening.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with being aggressive and play strokes, but you got to be selective. That's the key word. You got to be selective in your stroke play. And Bacchus at this time wasn't selective at all.
So Johnson is on strike, as the batsman would have crossed while that ball was in the air. It went high up in the air. The fielder had a long time to settle under it and make sure that he took the catch. So Johnson is going to be on strike to face Salmon, as Salmon left arm over the wicket, and this delivery is dropped away into the onside, gets an easy single as they just run through for that run for the Guyanese team. 27 it goes up to, 27 for 3. 27 for 3 in over number 5, as we look here, as we're just waiting, we're just making sure that we sort it out. Here is this, the bowler has gone around the wicket to the right-handed batsman. This new batsman, the ball is worked away down on the onside. He comes through for what in the end was an easy single. The batsman guilty of ball watching. He just was looking to see where that ball went, and Johnson was screaming for him to come for that single as the ball had gone down to a short fine leg. They got through easily in the end. So one more to the total. It goes up to 28. 28 for 3 in over number 5. So looks as if it's Jonathan Fu who has come out to join his captain Johnson. Here is this delivery down the leg side and looking to pull it around, but hits it straight to the man at that short backward square position and can't score. He was hoping to get it past that fielder who is posted there. It was a short delivery on the line of the leg stump. Really, Johnson would have wanted to put that one away and get runs from it. Didn't score from it. So he's on strike to this delivery again on the line of the leg stump, and he's sent back. He's in trouble. Could be in trouble, but he's diving back and making his ground. He darted down the track and sent back by Fu, and he had to put on the air brakes and really turn quickly, and he threw himself in, and the throw was a little bit wayward too, and allowed him to be able to make his ground.
There was never a single on, and it was rightly sent back by Jonathan Fu, because it would have been a disaster.
It would have been a disaster. Don't know where he was running to, but he hit the ball and he really motored down, but had good ABS braking And so he was able to put them on and get back in. He plays this next delivery defensively back along the pitch for the bowler Salmon to field to his own bowling, and there is no run. Salmon, left arm spinner, he's in, and this delivery is again played back along the pitch for the bowler to field to his own bowling, and there's no run. Brings up the end of over number 5. At the end of it, it's 28-4-3.
That's one of the problems that I see happening in West Indies cricket in general, especially in the T20 format, that there's so many dot balls being soaked up. These guys seem to be power hitters, want to always hit boundaries, and if you don't get the boundaries, it's difficult to get the ones and twos, and that has been a major problem, and we need to sort this out where we can keep the scoreboard ticking, pick up ones and twos, because we're all power hitters, so the boundaries will come. But what happens when the boundaries are not coming? You've got to find ways to score, and they're not doing that at the moment. As I said, welcome back to Seth Burton.
Yes, thank you, Curtly, and it's good to be back. It's good to see how the approach of the Guyanese would match that good target from Jamaica, but at 28-3, it does not really inspire a lot of hope. But cricket, as you say, is a game of glorious uncertainty. There are players who can get it done and who can get it done under the most trying of circumstances. And I guess the Guyanese would be really trying to ensure that they can hold their own at this stage.
I've always wondered why they use the term glorious uncertainty. if you're uncertain, why is it glorious? I'm just wondering,
I guess there are times when we would have given up on games, Curtly, and then things happen, In your time especially, I was trying to school my sons because they want to know how Curtly Ambrose is so great in my estimation. So I said he used to actually take situations that seemed impossible and brought them to possibilities for the West Indies. This time you see a flying drive on the bounce, well fielded by the cover fielder, and there is no run. So the score remains on 28-3. So that is why it is of glorious uncertainty. That spell of 7-for-1, what a thing. That other spell 8-for 42 in Barbados when we said West Indies can't win this one. Here is Fuhr fanning at that, and that one went through dangerously to the wicketkeeper, and there is no run. So that's why it's glorious uncertainty. There are times when you write off a cricket match, and they say, it's got to end in a tame draw. That team has got to win. And next thing you hear, bam, 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 3 wickets down, and the game has changed. So it keeps you in suspense, and it keeps you always wondering. In soccer and some of the other games, the team is 3 down, that game with 30 minutes, that's over. Basketball, you're ahead by 20 points, maybe with 3 minutes to go, it's dead and over. But cricket has always been a real funny game. This time a short one, once again flirting with danger outside the off stump. The right-handed Fuhr, and the ball goes through.
Jonathan Fuhr came on the scene a few years ago, you can recall, with a bang. Had a couple of good games, and people started talking about him. And he just sort of...
Yes, he has fallen off.
Faded away into the sunset, basically.
Yes. Looking even a bit ungainly in those strokes outside the off stump, and he was much better than that. He was a bit slimmer also when he came on the scene. This time he comes up and he plays this one with a straight bat, good bit of fielding, but the batsmen have come through rather quickly for a single, and the Guyanese captain Leon Johnson is going to take responsibility. But we have had that regularly in West Indies cricket. A player coming on, our hopes have been risen for a little while, and then it goes crashing. And I think the issue of consistency.
I think sometimes we tend to get carried away with maybe 1 or 2 good performances.
That's right.
And I don't like to do that because I want to see, like I say, I want to see some consistency first. 1 or 2 games doesn't really make you a great player. And sometimes we get carried away.
That's right. Here is Smith. The right armer comes in to Johnson. Johnson is beaten, fishing outside the off stump. I think he was in 2 minds, as though he wanted to drive back past the ball, and at the same time as though he was trying to play a square drive. This time he shows, well, in fact, after reviewing perhaps what went wrong, that the square drive may have been the better option. It was outside the off stump, so the Jamaican. So we need that consistency. Another example is Leon Johnson. Good player 5-6 years ago. This time he gets a good one. Goes back. He's given out belatedly. He was trying to show the umpire perhaps that the ball took the edge, but he was on the back foot. He was cramped. The ball kept a bit low, and I believe it was adjacent, but he belatedly raised the bat. But umpire Bernard Joseph had already decided in his mind that he was adjacent. And Leon Johnson goes, the Guyana captain going. Guyana really stuttering here. 29 for 4. Johnson departs. LBW to Smith for 5.
Yes, it was certainly a belated decision, but Leon Johnson, the captain, sort of waved his bat to signify that I've got an edge, but the umpire decided differently, and he's the key man. Once the finger goes up, then you can beg and plead all you want. You got to go.
Got to go. So Guyana really not showing up here in their first encounter, but Jamaica would have lost to the Master Blasters, the Antigua Master Blasters, in the opening encounter would sense that they have an opportunity of victory. So perhaps we say it's a game of glorious uncertainty, but it's trending towards Jamaica. They scored 179 for 6 batting first here. And the Guyanese, they are 150 runs behind.
Yes, Jamaicans are in the ascendancy at the moment, and you can see how energized they look. They're running around the field and sensing victory, even though we're still a long way off. But, I mean, whenever team 29 for 4, obviously you're going to think that you're well in control in over number 6.
Right, so Fo has been joined by Kimo Paul, but it's Fo who is going to take strike. The bowler is Smith, is Ordain Smith down the leg side. Wide signal by umpire Ivor. And Guyana will perhaps, well, they even have, the Guyanese, they don't have a bad batting lineup. So they maybe would be hoping that Paul can stay around. They have Bramble, they have Stephen Jacobs. So they have some guys who can do things, but they would need to be consistent. There is no devil in the pitch here. Here is Fu coming forward on this occasion and playing the ball into the vacant mid-on position. The fielder comes off the long on boundary fields and only a single. So Guyana will be hoping that they can steady things. The consistency in terms of West Indians, you spoke earlier about Beaton. We have not seen a lot of younger fast bowler coming through apart from young Joseph, Alzari Joseph. But also in the last CPL, we saw a few others trying to put their hands up. And we see even at the top level, even at the bowling level, we see West Indies going back for some of the older bowlers, some guys who would have retired and come back. And here is this one into the pads. This occasion, Paul just allows it to go into his thigh pad. No harm done. So we see the Taylors coming back. We see Kima Roach making a re-entry. Here is Paul being beaten outside the off stump. The left arm coming across, and that one pitched just outside off, and it was going further away. And Paul not looking relaxed, not looking in command. He's fishing outside the off stump. On this occasion, he gets one that bounces as well, beats him. Good delivery. It's good to see spinners are getting the ball to bounce.
Yes, of course, and there's a slip in place waiting for that outside edge as well, and so far so good.
So here is Paul, faces up. He tries to sweep the ball at Piers. He's given. I was just going to say appears to be going down the leg side, but in umpire Ivor's mind, it was adjacent. We see, I don't think it was a discreet shot because he had to. One beat him outside the off stump, the other one bounced on stump, and this time he was trying to get in the line to sweep to one that was pushed through by the left arm orthodox spin, and then he was deceived.
Yes, and it was a much fuller length delivery, and if you know cricket set, you cannot sweep a delivery like that's so full. You need it on the front foot outstretched to play the sweep shot, and it was a full delivery, and he tried to sweep it, which was really not on the cards, and was LBW.
So Guyana losing wicket number 5. It's not looking good. If you're a Guyana fan, it's not looking good. They are chasing 180 for victory, and they are 31 for 5, and we're in over number 7. And so we are here at the Sir Viv Richards Cricket Grounds on this Saturday night. So if you're thinking their game tomorrow evening, would it be Guyana versus Antigua? The Antigua Barbuda Master Blasters. A good opportunity for fans to come out and enjoy that game in cool atmosphere here at the Sir Viv Richards Stadium. I was walking around currently and I saw the moon to our left. Perhaps we're unsighted by it now, looking rather nice and yellow, mellow, and adds to the atmosphere here. Few spectators around along with those who are on the southern side and some below us as well. This time Fu plays this one in the air just to the left of the fielder at the wide mid-off position into the boundary for 4. At one stage it looked as though the fielder thought he had a chance, but I thought Fu thought that he was in full command and he just played a lofted drive and he got 4 easy runs.
Yes, I thought for a second that he was going to go down the throat of the mid-off fielder, but it was chucked firmly enough and high enough to get away from the mid-off fielder for 4 runs. And Jonathan Fu and the other Guyana players need a lot more boundaries to get to that 180 total.
So Lamont in his third over has had 1 for 4 so far. This time, Fu steers this one, taken, brilliant catch. The fielder coming off the third man boundary. That one was not played with any aggression at all. He was just trying to glide it down to third man. And when it looked as though it was going to drop, the fielder darted in and took a spectacular diving catch. And Guyana, they are really going down for the count. They have really declined to 31 for 6. And it is not looking good, Curtly Ambrose.
Certainly not. Certainly not. It was a nothing shot, basically, in part of Jonathan Fu. It was a short delivery wide of off stump, and there's 1 or 2 things you should have done. Should have really go for it over backward point.
That's right.
Or just let it go. He played a nothing shot, really, and the bounce and pace carried the third man. It was a great catch in the end, because the fielder and third man had to run in and dive and took it very low. So it was a good catch, and Guyana, they're in dire straits.
They're in dire straits. I don't think they have any hope right now. Well, certainly they don't have any capital H hope in the Guyana team, but they need more than the person of hope. But they really need, at least in a tournament like this, though, you not only that you have pride to play for, but you also have the averages to play for. So Guyana, recognizing that the Jamaicans barely eclipsed the 100 in their opening game, would want to bat as long as they can, press past the 100, because it could well come down to averages.
Well, exactly. And
So,
to try and win this game convincingly is so important.
so here is Lamont once again. He comes in to the new batsman, Bramble, who plays the ball. The return comes in. We see a diving, desperate batsman coming through because the fielder at cover came in and really picked up the ball and had a throw at the stumps.
But he didn't actually let it go.
Well, he didn't.
It was a
Okay.
bit of a a sham, really. And the fielder, the batsman dived into his ground. Okay, it was a bit short. Well, he figured he was short. And Guyana are in serious trouble at the moment. And this 180 now looks like it's going to be a real huge mountain to climb.
So it's definitely a mountain. Lamont having 2 for 4, and he's just into his third over. So what can Guyana do? We have not seen Stephen Jacobs, have we? Here is Lamont. This one gets almost onto the stumps. It was squeezing through the batsman who came forward defensive. He was cramped a bit, and the ball going down and as though it was going back towards the stumps. But didn't really go as far as one thought. So
We still continue with some technical issues here, Seth.
Yes,
because the
we are.
scoreboard is still saying, our
31.
monitor says 31 for 5.
but it's 37 for 6.
Yeah, so bear with us, our listeners.
Here is Lamont. This time, this one has been driven. A good drive, but it doesn't go too far between the cover and the extra cover. They have gotten one. That's all there will be. Good diving save by the man running from the cover region. And only a single to Rutherford. So
we just want to ask our listeners to bear with us a little bit as we try to get rid of this technical difficulty.
Because apart from the main screen, our screens inside are also, well, we see a no ball. Our screens inside, they have gone totally blank. So, and we don't have the luxury of the handwritten writing scorer, as I usually say. I rely on technology, but I always believe that the first line of backup, the primary source, is always pen and paper.
And you can never go wrong with pen and paper, Seth. Never. It's always
sure.
Very sure.
So here is Rutherford facing up to Lamont. This time he pulls this one out towards the mid-wicket boundary. One bounce into the fence for 4. Good shot. The ball stood up, and it was really for the asking. He was on the front foot and just pulled it across. It's good to see that level of confidence from a Guyanese batsman. The score moves into the 40s. Guyana score moving up to 43 for 6. And at this stage, 43 for 6. It does not represent a score or a response of confidence from the Guyanese, but at least that shot, as Zorel Bartley comes beside me, that shot would at least inspire some level of confidence, at least in the batsman at the crease, because Guyana, they do have a long way to go.
Good shot there from Bramble. Short delivery from Lamont, who has been working up some pace here this evening. Short, stocky, sprints to the crease, brisk of pace. And the dismissal of Jonathan Fu, I think, is indicative of the type of pace he bowled at, because Fu was not getting in line.
That's right.
He looked to run it down to third man, and the pace took it a long way to third man. Brilliant catch.
It was.
Coming in, I think that was Powell, the Chris Gale lookalike, diving forward and coming up with a brilliant catch.
Really, a spectacular catch.
Well, disappointing display here by the Guyanese batsman. Keena Paul is very capable, and he's at the crease now with Bramble.
Smith to Paul, tries to work off the pad. The ball goes just forward of square. The wicketkeeper comes around fields, and there is no run. But 43 for 6, chasing 180. At this stage, that does not inspire confidence. Paul fishes at that outside the off stump, not really getting into line, but opting to cut, I would rather say, but been beaten. All ends up. This time he faces Smith once again outside the off stump, comes forward, and he's ambling down, but decides not to come through for the single.
We saw the Jamaicans scoring in excess of 100 runs out of the last 10 overs. Chadwick Walton was brilliant. Hit through the line, hit it long and hard.
Here is Paul coming forward and showing the full face of the bat, playing the ball back up the track, and fielded by the bowler, and there is no run.
But this tournament provides opportunities, and Keena Paul has a good opportunity here to, score some runs and in the process lead his team to a respectable total.
Yes, as a youngster, that's what we were accustomed to of him, to have good all-round performances, and consistency is critical. You make a case here, it goes on into the next series, it goes on to the next T20 opportunity. This time, he comes forward, plays the ball, back up the track for the bowler to field. That completes the over. In Guyana, at this stage, after over number 9, they are 43 for 6. And I was saying to Curtly that the fact that the Jamaicans would have lost the opening game against Antigua Barbuda Master Blasters and scoring just over 100, Guyana would have to be thinking average. They may not be thinking that they can pull off the win at this stage, or if they even though they're thinking that way, plan B would have to be to ensure that at least that they get over 100 to be still in reckoning by the second round of this contest.
Well, net run rate will always be
precisely
key, and this is only a 3-team tournament, so three games here this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then 3 games Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and with the finals on Saturday. So it's good to get off the mark. Losing one game, you're not out of it, but the Jamaicans lost last night, and they're definitely bouncing back here this evening. But net run rate will obviously be a factor.
So here is Bramble coming forward to the first ball of the new over. And
I think it's Powell. Powell is the new ball, the man who took that brilliant catch at third man.
Yes, that came off from third man. So we see good athleticism from young Powell. you said the Chris Gale lookalike, tall and slimly built. Plots to heel like Chris Gale, but he comes in over the wicket to Bramble. Bramble works the ball. Was opting to whip it off the pads, but perhaps the ball taking the bottom of the bat and going back. As we mentioned,
Seth, with regards to opportunities to someone like Keno Paul, here's where kudos have got to be given to the Antigua Barbuda Cricket Association for coming up with this initiative.
Yes.
You know, in its second edition, for pulling regional teams. Last year we had the Windwards and Jamaica. This year we have Guyana and Jamaica.
Powell, the tall fast bowler, comes in, driven back, hitting Paul on his hand and going down to the fielder at long on, and only a single.
Yeah, because what it is doing is not only providing opportunities for young Antiguan players, but it's giving opportunities to young players from the Guyana, from the Jamaica team, fringe players, and giving the selectors in those territories the opportunity to, you know, promote and advance young players who normally would not get into the first class setup.
This time here is Paul playing this one down. Powell coming in front of Bramble and showing his quickness, his agility, almost creating a discomfort for the Guyanese batsmen. The single nevertheless taken, so the score up to 45 for 6. We're in over number 10. Denmore Roberts is come beside the Zorel Batley. But some years ago, Zorel, you were also the president of the Cricket Association with the T20 initiative, the local T20 initiative. And I remember the exposure came for Orlando Peters. That was seen by Marlon Samuels, who was leading the Hawksbill, and he ended up in the team, even though he was not there originally. This time we see Bramble playing this one back up the track to Powell, and there is no run. So opportunities. You just need the looking. You take the opportunity, and then you could become a big star, especially as T20 has become the key in international cricket recently.
It was a cool and smooth tournament in its premier year when Orlando was spotted by Marlon.
Here is Bramble coming forward to this delivery and plays it out towards long off. Fielder comes off the boundary, looks like Smith. A single to Bramble, so they're trying to work it around. They're just rotating the strike. And that completes over number 10. Guyana in a really tough situation, chasing 180 for victory after 10 overs. They are 48 for 6 after comments from Uzoro. Denmore Roberts will continue the ball-by-ball commentary.
Yeah, 48 for 6, and in dire straits here, having lost the cream of their batting lineup. There's still some capable players. There's Keno Paul, there's Bramble here. We haven't seen Stephen Jacobs. He's also a capable top, middle, lower order player. I'm sure they'd want to not go down limply here this evening, but they'd want to put up some fight and ensure that they build some confidence going into the second round of this tournament.
I definitely feel that it's going to be the immediate goal for the Guyanese, not to lose any more wicket in the short term, and at least look to get a few runs on the board. So at least if they don't win, that they can at least put up a competitive fight. They would want to at least be going down fighting. They wouldn't want to just go down meekly. This delivery of the start of a new over, this delivery struck away out into the offside field by Bramble. Gets another single. Who is that bowler?
Not sure.
Left-handed.
No names, and the board is down.
Allen. So
Fabian Allen.
Fabian Allen is the bowler. Another left-arm spinner for Jamaica. So he's in with Keno Paul and Bramble. Anthony Bramble in at the crease for Guyana. They are struggling. Here is this delivery, swinging at the delivery that is angled down the leg side. The bowler looked around, thought of asking the question, and then quickly aborted that appeal. So the score remains on 47 for 6. This delivery is played away into the mid-wicket region. They sprint for one, but again, the fielder coming in off the boundary was really motoring in, coming in very quickly, preventing the batsman from even thinking about a second run. So just a single to Paul brings Bramble back on strike. Here is Allen in, and this delivery again just drifting into the batsman. He was looking to work it on the inside. The ball seemingly touched down and turned a bit, and so in trying to turn it, the ball ended up into the offside, and there is no run. Allen quickly back to his mark, goes left arm around the wicket, and Bramble is swinging at one, and the ball coming off the inner portion of the bat, and again a poor stroke under the circumstances. He was looking to launch that one somewhere out of the ground, didn't really make contact, no damage done, no addition to the total. It remains on 48 for 6. So Allen, once more, left arm around the wicket, a short of a length delivery. This time the batsman is hitting it hard out to deep cover, who's on the boundary. The sweeper comes in and has a strong throw back to the wicket-keeper's end, and the batsmen are able to come through for run number 49.
Allen delivered most of those deliveries from the middle of the stump, from the middle of the crease, angling into the right-handed batsman, cramping him for most parts. He tried to be creative, looked to hike him over deep mid-wicket, wasn't successful. A shorter delivery, he pounded through the offside to the man sweeping in the offside. But not any momentum. The innings has stalled. They've lost wickets. They lost wickets early. Their backs are really to the wall, and from here they just want to save face. What I've noticed about the Jamaican team is that, having arrived in Antigua on Thursday, straight into a game yesterday, they looked a little lethargic. They were slow off the mark. Seemed a little bit undercooked.
They looked a lot better this evening.
Oh yeah,
they
definitely.
They look as if they've finally acclimatized, and they're now coming into their own. We watch as this is Powell comes in to start a new over. The first delivery is played away. The stumps are broken, but much too late as the ball was quickly down. The batsman is struck somewhere in the body. It looks as if he's in a bit of trouble. He ran through for the single, but he's now rolling around at the bowler's end after that delivery. So he was looking to pull it around. The ball probably taking him somewhere in the rib region, some in the midriff region, and he came through for the single, but now would need the assistance of the physio as he's rolling around at the end, and that looks to be, is that Bramble?
It is Bramble. Short delivery there from Powell. Left leg was in the air a la Gordon Greenidge, trying to whip it through mid-wicket, back with the square. He missed it, but it seemed to come in contact with the knee on the right leg. And very painful because he didn't move out of his crease very freely. He hobbled down to the other end and collapsed once he reached the other end. It seemed as if he took that one somewhere around the right knee.
Yes, he's up now, and he's trying to work it out. We see him, he has a smile on his face as I'm looking through some very good binoculars here, so he's giving me a nice close-up view of what is taking place. He's going to be okay. The physio didn't come out. There's a few players from the Guyana squad came out in their green bibs, and they came out and they were looking at him and having a broad smile on their face as well as he was just rolling around, and then he got up. The Jamaicans look very happy as well out there as they all seem to be okay. Now as Bramble is back on his feet, look as if he's going to try and just run it off, that lick that he got on that occasion. But the score is now on what, 50 for 6. So it means that the 50 has come up for the Guyanese team. We don't have the luxury of giving you the statistics on that as yet, but it's 50 for 6 presently. Powell trying to bowl quickly, and I like that about him, that he's a young fast bowler, and he's very, very active and really nice and bright. Here is he coming in with a short delivery. The batsman is pivoting and looking to pull. Doesn't time it well. The ball balloons over the top of the square leg umpire and falls, and they're able to come back for 2 runs. So 2 more to the total. 2 more to the Guyanese total. It's on to 52 for 6. Yes, you're hearing correctly if you're just joining us. And let me say good evening to my Guyanese friends who live here in Guyana, and 1 or 2 that I have in Guyana as well, and all over. We just say good evening to you as Powell charges in from the Sir Andy Roberts end, and this delivery is whipped away backward of square. Good diving stop by the fielder at that backward square position. The ball was traveling quickly. He had to tumble her down to his left-hand side, and he did so. Well, he's a bit, he's not as orthodox as they normally put them, because they normally put the square leg next to the umpire. He's a little bit towards the right of the umpire, almost fine. Maybe they know how Bramble plays. So here is this delivery. He's looking to smash it to the offside. The ball comes off the inner portion of the bat and nervously bounced past that off stump through to the wicket keeper. And in the end, there was no run. Powell walks quickly back to his mark. Tall, slimly built, medium fast bowler. Running in from the far end as we look at it. It's the Sir Andy Roberts end. He charges in now, goes past the umpires in and bowl to Bramble. And Bramble is hitting this one off the outer portion of the bat. A thick outside edge. It goes down to third man. And he's able to come through for a single. So one more to the total. It's up now on to 54, I think it is. Yes, it is 54. 54 for 6. We're in over number 12, being bowled by Powell. So, after this one, there's what? 7 overs or 8 overs to go after this one. So we watch as here is Powell. Runs in now to bowl to the batsman, and that's Paul, and Paul plays with the defensive bat. The ball leaving the bat very quickly and traveling quickly to the field at extra cover, and there was no run. The end of the over has come up, the end of over number 12. At the end of it, it's 54 for 6.
We saw last night the opening game, Antigua versus Jamaica, in this the second edition of this Tri-20 series. A little bit unfortunate, though, that a little bit of controversy would have raised its head with regards to the Antigua team and the resignation of the management coaching staff in preparation for this tournament. A tournament of this type.
Why do we always have to have controversy? Why is it that, I'm asking you, you being an executive member of a cricket association before, why is it that you guys give people a job and then want to do it for them? And it might be a hard question to ask.